Hello everybody and welcome again to Retro Gaming Revisited. Today we've got Day of Defeat here. This is one of the most popular Half-Life 1 mods, a bit similar to Counter-Strike. It's team-based, first-person shooter. You've got one versus another with objectives on certain maps, i.e. destroy this objective or capture this objective. Most of it is in the style of Battlefield 1942's early conquest mode, so you would capture certain points along the map until you've captured all of it and then you'd win. Though this was a lot more direct and a lot more close combat. There was no vehicles, and only a few levels allowed you for the use of mortars and other various set pieces. This was my preferred game. When there was this, and then there was Counter-Strike. I played Counter-Strike a lot, but when I really got to grips with this one, I preferred this one because when you die, there's a respawn timer, which I thought was very good, because if you weren't great at the game, at least you had a fair chance of playing. Counter-Strike, once you're killed, you're dead for that round. Also, it's World War II themed, obviously. That's my favourite theatre of games, first-person shooters to play. I feel that Call of Duty really need to head back now to a period of time that isn't the future, or the near modern future. So that's my little rant about that. So, what are we going to do today? Well, I'm going to jump into a quick game on one of the most played levels that I remember. And we're going to play with bots. Now, they're not fantastic, and they're often very stupid, but as we're playing this offline, because I've checked and there are only 3 servers in Europe that are still playing this game. The rest of the servers are all based in the States with horrible pings, and I would not get a decent video recording out of them. So your classes are pretty much the same on both sides, except for the British. I might get around to that in a minute. You have on both sides, you have a rifleman, then you have your carbines, submachine guns, more submachine guns, your sniper rifle, your automatic rifle, I suppose, and your machine gunner and bazooka. The only real benefit, as you can see, is in that chart there with the damage, accuracy, control, rate of fire. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to fire this from the hip, whereas you would with this one, and pretty much the rest. The rifleman, the secondary fire is to hit them with the butt of the weapon, which was introduced in the final version of the game. You can see other weapons they carry is the pistol, a knife, and 2 fragmentation grenades. Each class carries different amounts of grenades in regards to the weapon they are also carrying. So the sniper, as you can see, has no grenades, whereas the support infantry has 1, but the rifleman and staff sergeant have 2. I always went with the rifleman or staff sergeant because I was just generally better with these weapons. So the Axis, the other team, have the same sort of thing, but they have weapons relevant to that particular army. So we're just going to jump right in, fill the server with bots. There you go. The game should start in a minute. Here we are. So I'm not going to talk too much, but I'm just going to run through the game. Run through a match, and then I might do a British map afterwards, so that you can see what the British Army in the game was like. But yeah, this is pretty much the game as it was. Some objectives like this one here needed 2 people to capture. And ones like this only needed 1 person to capture. So you can see in the top left, that's how many capture points we have. Oh, Sometimes the mouse seizes up a bit. Luckily the bots aren't great, otherwise I would have been easily dead just then. Whoops. Yeah, I tend to do that quite a bit on first person shooters because I can't see the floor beneath the character. Or I struggle to see the floor beneath the character. Now there was a trick with the grenade. If you throw it on the ground and then throw it, it takes down the cooking time. By cooking, if anyone with a military mind understands what that means, is you pull the pin and you allow the fuse on the grenade to tick down a little bit by a few seconds, so that so there isn't much time for the enemy to throw the grenade back, or it will detonate just over a target. And we have won the match. Well, we've won that round anyway. So I'll just do a couple more. I'll do one more. We'll see how we go. Yep, teams are even. I'll do one more, and then I'll switch to a British map, so that you can see what the British army was like in the game, like I've said before.
I need backup! Objective secure! Grenade! Area clear! Point captured!
This chap seems a bit lost, doesn't he? Don't seem very keen on attacking. Got lucky there. Let's see, what classes don't we have? I will go with Master Sergeant for the next round. See if we can just quickly finish this one off so it doesn't drag on. I used to be in a team or a clan or whatever you want to call them for this particular game. We didn't do very well, but we enjoyed ourselves. That was the most important thing, was we were having a laugh, good laugh with it. I understand game rage, but that means you're not really enjoying it, are you? Because you're only enjoying it when it's all going your way. I mean, of course that's beneficial, but it shouldn't dictate whether you enjoy the game or not. Okay. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. Just had to change the level so that I can show you what the British maps were like. So this is Dodd Flash. This is probably one of the most played maps in regards to the British Army being involved. So you have your rifleman, sergeant major, marksman, gunner, and a rocket launcher. Not many people chose the rocket launcher unless there was objectives in the map that you had to destroy with it. So most people took the gunner, which was the Bren. That was the one I played the most. Your marksman, sergeant major, and rifleman. So this was the British army. They were introduced in the very late versions of the game. They weren't, in my opinion, they were not given a lot of time in regards to building the actual army itself, because they've only got 5 weapons, one of which is a rocket launcher, which people really aren't going to pick if you think about it. I mean, there were weapons in the British Army, apart from the ones listed here. One of them being the the Vickers light machine gun. Okay, that's a bit of an old weapon, but they were still there. So I feel that they lost a little bit. Maybe they just went for the weapons that were used the most, I suppose. The one thing I always found on this map, the British, or Allies, were always at a disadvantage to the Axis team. I always found that that we were at a disadvantage whenever we used to play the map on enemy down servers, because there used to be leagues. There used to be actual leagues for this game, and Counter-Strike. It was called Enemy Down. You had to register. You had to register a team and everything. It was quite in depth, which I quite enjoyed. However, whenever we used to and they would always have a map of the week, so every single clan or team or whatever you want to call them had to play the same one. I'll just quickly win this one. That's a very rare occurrence that the team would actually win this map. I believe when I used to play it, it all came down to just how many points you had gathered at the end. It was always very slim margins. But again, you know, like I said, you know, in the last map, if you're not having fun with it, then you're not enjoying the game. Kind of gave that one away, I think. So we've got 2 gunners, a sergeant major, and 2 riflemen. Let's try the marksman. The British pistol was by far the worst. You had the Luger on the German side, the Colt 1911, this pea shooter of a weapon. Got a bit confused there. Counter Strike. If you press 1, it brings up your primary weapon. In this, it's 3. You could reverse it. There were ways to bind it, yeah, so it was the other way around, but I just kind of went with the default setting.
Grenade in! Clear out! Move!
Ah, they're all stuck.
Grenade in!
Again, another issue that would happen to the bots would they would become stuck. Oh, should have just gone for it. A lot of people decided to mod the standard weapon models so that they would look different. And there was one pack I used to use a lot, and it would you still have the weapons as shown, but for example the Sten, the gun I just had, you would hold it by the magazine instead of underneath as shown, and it just for some reason it just made more sense for it to be that way. Again, I can't explain why, it was just a visual thing, but it honestly did make a difference. Oh, okay, lost the mouse again. I'm using a wireless mouse, so the connection does keep dropping out. Ah, that was a good shot. So I think to try and wrap this up, I'm just going to go with the rifleman. It's pretty much a one-shot kill with a bayonet if I get too close. According to the history behind a lot of the levels, they were modelled after actual battles, or yeah, battles in World War II. I can't actually. There was some obvious ones like Omaha Beach, which I tried with the bots, and they all just stayed in the spawn. They never actually did anything. So we won't use that. I don't know why I'm checking my score like it matters.
Clear out! Move!
Shut up.
Point captured! Enemy ahead! Point captured!
Oh, this fucking mouse. Ah, I should have just shot him. It would be great if one of the bots could capture the last flag. It's not, the bots aren't bad. They're not programmed badly. It's just. Now, did he have the MP40? I think he did. Tell you what, trade.
Point captured.
Got it. That'll do.
Ready to go. Carry on, man.
And that'll do. So that's the British and the American sides. And I think that was it. I don't think there were any other maps I can think of to show you. Nope, that'll do. I think I'll wrap that up. Okay, so that was Day of Defeat, obviously with bots. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you managed to get a good insight into the game. Like I said, it is still being played, but unfortunately all the servers are overseas and the pings are horrible. But you can play it with bots, although you know that won't last very long. People do think, well, I'd rather play with other people. But this, I'd like to think that this was a precursor to the first instalment in the Call of Duty franchise, which was World War II, had a multiplayer element very similar to this one, although it was more like team deathmatch because, well, let's face it, it's easier to program. So that's my thoughts on this. I loved this game at the time. It was a big deal for me, but you know, as time goes by, obviously this will be very much forgotten, and it will just get added to the list of, I don't know, top 50 first-person shooter mods of all time. So I'm going to close it down there. Thanks very much for watching. If you liked what you've been watching, please hit the subscribe button below. Give the video a like. You know, tell your friends, your mum, your dog, anyone that uses the internet about us, because we really appreciate it. And we will catch you again on the flip side.